So today on the Mayiwa murder trial, it sounds like the perfect opening scene to one of Mzansi's latest action-packed drama series. But I'm afraid it's a case that has been going on for nearly a decade, and justice still seems out of reach for the family. So you've heard many versions of events of what actually happened that night. It's starting to feel a little bit like a broken telephone. Let's try and see if we can reconnect the wires for you. Elton Hart, legal expert, with us this morning. Elton, good to have you back with us. Hope you had a good weekend as well. And before we talk about what you made of the very good friend of Senzo in the house and his testimony, I see a lot of people over the weekend referring to and talking about the no-nonsense judge, Rata Mokgotleng, as well. Many people saying it's probably because he was a footballer back in his day, but a very straight shooter. What have you made of the judge? A lot of people are a big fan, saying he wants to get this going. It's almost a decade long now.
No, indeed, if one look at the judge, he gets into the arena and he gets clarity very quickly, and he seeks clarity very quickly when it seems like there is maybe half-hearted answers, or maybe a witness is trying to evade a question that has been put to them, and also where certain questions is put to witnesses that is sort of half trying to mislead the witnesses. So then he gets into the arena, because there's case law to the effect that says a judge should not just be a mere spectator, but he should direct the processes so that we get to an expeditious ending of the trial. So I think the current judge is doing pretty well in actually managing the procedures, and also making sure that people know that he knows how a location looks. He knows what's happening in the location, because at various instances they will say, but we know what is it, and that's what we call judicial notice. So that for me, it's a good thing. So it makes sure that people don't mess around and hang around on unnecessary points for too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the judge getting a lot of praise at the moment for how quickly he's keeping proceedings going as well. I also noticed this on Friday. We're starting to move away, or at least the argument from the defense was moving away into more of a position of trying to prove that there actually weren't any intruders on the house that night. The prosecution from a few weeks ago were trying to pin on the 5 accused who did what and when, making the assumption they were in the house. Now defense coming out and going, no, they don't believe actually there were any intruders at all. What did you make of that?
No, it's indeed, and I said from the beginning that they should more or less move in a direction to say that, and that's when I talked about the cell phone triangulation, to just bring somebody to say that our clients at the time of the incident, they were not in the vicinity. With cell phone triangulation, you can prove where a person more or less was. So then they can say, first, you cannot identify us. Secondly, we were not in the vicinity. So even if we had some sort of communication with each other, or some communication with Kelly Khumalo for whatever it is, you cannot prove the content thereof. And then you create enough doubt in the court's mind to find us guilty. And it's only lately that I'm seeing now they moving in that direction to say, listen, yeah, this is now our strategy that we're going to, because I can also see that the state, I don't think that they have sufficient at this point in time, and the state's witnesses are contradicting each other on critical aspects as to what transpired at that house, and that creates that doubt. And for me, that is where the state will have problems in actually proving. Maybe even if they say that these people were in the house, you cannot prove who actually fired the shot, because it's already not clear from Zandile Khumalo, not clear from Mtokozisi Twala, and now it's now in between. Are they going to call Longwe Twala or Gladys Khumalo today? And I think it's now getting to a point where Longwe Twala is needed in this trial.
Yeah, and once again, we're hearing the name towards the end of last week, Elton, the name of Kelly Khumalo coming out as well, but this time talking about her alleged refusal to give back Senzo Mayiwa's ID book and I believe some clothes as well. The defense then trying to tie this in with the cell phone SIM swap that happened the day after as well. I don't know, because I'm not a legal expert like you. I don't know if there was a direct connection there, but I do know the not wanting to hand back the ID was a big issue. But once again, Kelly Khumalo's name coming up in this case.
Gareth, if one looks at, she was in possession of the ID, and if we follow the laws in the country, when you go do a SIM swap, you need to take your ID with. And Colonel Lambertestein said a SIM swap was performed the day after, which is the Monday. And Mtokozisi Twala said, Monday you saw the ID in Kelly's possession, and Tuesday the ID was still in her possession. That's when she handed the ID over to the family. So that already says that possibly and the circumstantial evidence suggests that she was the one that actually made that some swap. And that's the dangerous thing. So already one can see now that is like where the defense is now using whatever they have to cast doubt on the state's evidence to say, listen, yeah, we are the ones, the masterminds that is responsible for the death of Senzo Mayiwa. And they just need to create doubt. They don't need to prove that they are innocent. The state need to prove that they are guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And the moment they cast that net of doubt out there, and the doubt is there, the judge cannot convict them.
So now, of course, we look ahead to what's going to be a week ahead, a new witness coming in as well. I'm not sure if you're aware of who the witness is. I haven't seen anything as far as names are concerned. But if you were to look at strategy-wise, exactly to your point of the prosecution have to prove their guilt in a court case like this, of course. What do you think the prosecution would be doing next? What would they be going after? What would they be focusing on? What would they want to circle back around as far as prosecution is concerned, Elton?
For me, I would think Brigadier Ganinda is now the one that they need here, because Colonel Lambertestein gave evidence, Sergeant Mabasa gave evidence of technical nature. Yes, it's not out and out, but at least it shows that there's some sort of a link between these people prior to the death of Senzo and after the death. Now, Brigadier Ganinda was the one that actually gave the instructions. Bring him and close down so that you have circumstantial evidence, and you can argue on that circumstantial evidence. Given the circumstances surrounding what happened, these are the possible, these accusers, the ones that actually committed the offense or whatever you want to prove. But I think bringing in Longetwala or Gladness Kumalo at this point in time is going to give the defense a field day, because now they're going to now put more versions to them and say, listen here, these other witnesses, Zandile Kumala testified, and now you come and tell the court this. So the doubt will just be greater that is created. So I think that Brigadier Ganinda must be coming in at some stage very soon.
Well, I appreciate your time as always, Elton Hart, just making sense of what's happening in the Senzo Mayiwa case. Legal expert Elton Hart with us this morning, because it can be difficult to follow, especially if you're not sitting with us all day when we bring you that live coverage. It will be live streamed again on eNCA.com, unless, and of course I need to say this, unless of course there's a ruling against any kind of live broadcasting. It should be streaming again on eNCA.com later this morning. Elton Hart, legal expert with us this morning. All right.